It should be alright. I got an unexpected windfall, which I wouldn't have got, and here's one of the real advantages of driving, actually, is if somebody actually, while I've been on the road, somebody who lives in somewhere closer to Pszczyna, but who's going to Katowice today, just called me up, and it just so happens that, I'm a little early, a little before the time, and I can go to Katowice and just have half an hour to take lunch with this person. I didn't plan it, and when I started this film, I didn't know this was going to happen. I've got, an hour's leeway on the road, even with a good margin, and so I'm going to spend half of that just taking lunch with this gentleman in 35 minutes from now in Katowice. There's albatross. Albatross! Albatross! What flavour is it? I don't know what flavour. It's bloody seabird flavour, isn't it? Albatross. Never mind, I'm sure that's a pretty poor imitation of the albatross sketch. But this is a little bit streamy of consciousness today. People will think I'm some kind of modern James Joyce. Or Schnitzler, or whatever his name is, who wrote Lieutenant Gustav. That was probably one of the better stream of consciousness books I've read. But and of course Catcher in the Rye is a good stream of consciousness book. But not everybody can write that way. I don't think I could. But I can video that way, of course, because I'm obviously the narrator when I'm doing a video. It's clear. Whether I want to write that way or could write that way is another matter. That takes a lot of imagination, because of course you're not really writing your stream of consciousness, you're writing an imagined stream of consciousness, whereas when you're talking, you are actually talking a stream of consciousness, so it really is stream of consciousness, along with all the foibles and the repetitions, like me saying stream of consciousness over and over again, even though good style would dictate that I didn't say stream of consciousness that many times in a single paragraph, if indeed you could apply paragraphs to speech when it's spoken, and paragraphs are something that you see in writing. If you committed speech to writing, then you would put it into paragraphs just to be, in accordance with convention. But whether, when somebody's simply talking, whether somebody can say, yes, well, he's just begun a new paragraph, well, obviously not. I mean, how would you... well, there are some people that speak because they've got ordered thoughts so well that you can almost feel, okay, new paragraph, fine. But normally, even if you pause, like I tend to sometimes pause in the middle of sentences, and then at the end of the sentence goes off in a way that I wasn't expecting at the beginning, and that was a good example of exactly that. And when I'm talking, it's real stream of consciousness, because I kind of don't know what I'm going to say when I switch the camera on. I know that I'm going to say, I might have one or two points in my head to start off with, and then more come as I'm starting to talk, and it might be completely tedious for everybody listening, but given the fact that people do keep watching it and keep being kind enough to comment, either I'm a thematic charity case and people come to watch my films because they feel sorry for me. I don't think that's a good reason to do it, but it's always possible that people do that, I don't know, or it's simply interesting for people to hear somebody rambling on in that particular way, because I suppose it's human, at least, isn't it? I mean, I was human last time I looked. Yes, I think I still am. So basically, yeah, I ought to drive slightly quicker, and the reason for driving slower is just to take the film. And earlier on I was talking about the elevation. It's still 302 here on the GPS, so it's still nice and high, and it's 8.7 is the fuel consumption now, so it's nice and economical. I might try and sell this again this year, but I'm quite happy that nobody bought it actually at the moment. I wanted 33,000 for it. I would have taken 30,000, but I wasn't even getting, offers anywhere near that. So I thought, well, no, that's just not worth it. I'm not going to take under like 28,000. If I liked the person, I'd have taken 28,000, But I wasn't going to go any lower than that. This year, I might start the bidding at 25,000 in March. But I might not even bother. I might simply not bother putting it up for sale. Now at Cheviers, this is the point at which if I was going to go straight down to the south to somewhere like Bielsko-Biała, I would go off this road onto a bypass. But since I'm not going to do that, I shan't be on the bypass. I shall carry on the Katowice road, and as long as I don't have what do I do now? Back onto the... I've got 29 minutes according to this to get to the place that I'm going to eat, and I've actually got 29 minutes to 1 o'clock, so I've got to start driving in accordance with the expectations this thing has of the road, which is that you basically go at 90% of what you're allowed to go at, and I've been going rather slower than that, so while we've been talking, so that's meant that I've lost a little bit, and I'm going to now have to probably just put on a little bit of the Ritz just to speed up again. I think this is, yeah, that's the place that takes you to the airport, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. The Katowice airport is not really near Katowice that much. Oh no, it's straight on, straight on. I offered to pick my client up at the airport, but he was getting picked up already by his own client and taken to... No, that's not right. He's getting picked up by another person of whom... No, I was right first time. He's getting picked up by effectively his client, because he's selling a product, I won't say what, to a company, but he's selling it on sale or return. He's basically putting call-off stocks, which is something like consignment stocks, only different. He's putting call-off stocks into this Polish place, of what I won't tell you, and therefore it's his customer effectively, but while they're his call-off stocks, he needs to be able to go and inventorise them at the end of the year. He's going to come and do a stock take, and because I work in the same group that's doing his audit, then everywhere where this guy goes, the auditor's also got to turn up and take some little tests for the sake of the group auditor. So that's kind of one of the things that auditors do, or can do. And so, and because I've got another stock take in the region tomorrow, where I have to go because if I don't turn up personally, the client isn't so happy, and there's somebody that's come with me from job to job, from place to place, so they've been very loyal to me, I'm going to be loyal back, yeah. So I go to this personally, even though as a partner I could say, you junior go to this stock take, you junior go to that stock take. Well, there's enough stock takes actually to be manned by an awful lot of us, and that's why I think it's necessary to take an all hands on deck policy anyway, and to show, even leading from the top, that driving yourself away from your home very early in the year, sometimes even on New Year's Day I've had to ride. This year no, it's not until the 3rd, but sometimes between the holidays of Christmas and New Year I've had to go off to long, far away places and count stock. So it's part of what you do, yeah. If you're an accountant, an auditor, that's part of what you do. This is the place where you've got the airport going one way and the road, the big bypass of most of Silesia going the other way, with Cheshire written that way. So if you look up and you see that you've got Katowice's straight on. Tarnowski Gori and the airport is off in that direction, and the bypass goes off in that direction to the left. So that's going to happen now, and this takes you right to the right up to the airport, from what I can tell. Going down there would take me right there, and right to the airport. But thankfully, and I say thankfully, I mean, it would have been a nice way to go. I don't know this client yet. It's a new job from today. The one that I'm seeing tomorrow is, and that's the one that would be on the bypass, so leading off there. So the one I'm seeing today, the person I'm meeting today, I'm seeing him for the first time. So it would have been an interesting way of getting to know somebody, to spend time in the car with them. It's not the first time I've done that, but he's got the other one who's, his client, because he's my client, so his client has offered him the courtesy of a collect, and hasn't wanted to. I suppose it makes good sense for him to keep to that rhythm, because he's going to be coming to there more often than I'm going to be coming to collect him. So I think it makes more sense for him to stick to that rhythm. So he said that he was going to stick to that. So that's fair enough. I mean, if somebody in that situation gets used to the idea that, you don't really need a pickup, then next time they may not offer one for him, because they'll think that he can cope for himself okay, and then he might actually need one. So I think he's made the right decision. I would probably have chosen the same in his situation, so I don't feel in the slightest bit what's the word, snubbed, as it were. No, it's just a very sensible decision he made. And but I didn't know whether he would be getting a collect from his client. For all I knew, he had to go and hire a car and all of that nonsense. So that's why I made the offer. And I also made the offer, to be honest with you, to look friendly. I was more than half expecting him to say no. So, but still, because you've offered something, it's puts you in a better situation, I think. Which may sound a little insincere, but it's not, because I'd have been just as happy if he'd have taken it. But in any event, even if he doesn't take it, I've got a psychological advantage of having made an offer and having been ready to do a favour. These things go very deep in the human psyche. So, anyway, enough business lessons and accounting and auditing psychology. Probably going to alienate a lot of the people that watch my stuff for other reasons, but I should probably turn off, because I've now got about 20 minutes to get to this guy, and 25 minutes is what it says on my thing. So I'm running 5 minutes late, which is still polite. In Poland, it's polite to be up to 15 minutes late, but after 15 minutes, more than 15 minutes late, is outside of what's called the academic quarter, kwadrans akademicki. The idea is that lectures, which are scheduled in universities to begin on the hour, actually often don't kick off until about 15 minutes past the hour, and then they go up fairly close to the end of the hour. Usually an hour is in universities works out about 45 minutes, and 45 minutes is actually called, an academic hour. So, and this is interesting, if you're actually doing language tuition in Poland, you say, well, I take such and such for the hour, and then you say, oh, well, that doesn't sound too bad, 70 zlotys an hour, not too bad. And then after 45 minutes, the guy says, well, okay, that's it for today. You say, what the heck? You told me an hour. And he says, yes, but that's an academic hour, yeah? The academic year doesn't last for 12 months, really. You've only got, actually less than 10, because you've got a 2-month holiday in summer and a couple of 2-week holidays. So sort of like a 9-month year is an academic year, and and the academic hour is similar. It's 45 minutes, so 3/4 of something. Yeah. So you feel like academically killing them, to actually going 3/4 of the way to killing them, but leaving them just to recover, so that you can do it again some other day, when they say that. But nevertheless, it's something to look out for, because they say it's that it's a Polish. Well, I could start and go on about academia in Poland, and about lectures and seminar presentation generally in this country, and I could alienate quite a lot of the Polish audience, because I could have quite a few things to say about it which wouldn't be too complimentary, far more than I would have things to say which are complimentary. I don't think I'd have that many things to say about academia or lecturing in business that were that complimentary. In general, the status, the state of it is really not anything like as advanced as in the Anglo-Saxon, if you like, world, in the English-speaking world, where I've seen great presentations both by UK or Australian or American presenters. They all seem to know how to spellbind an audience and edutain people, whether it's Americans or British or Irish or Australians. It seems to be something that goes all around the English linguation, but foreigners don't seem to have picked up on it too well, other than those that have lived, of course, and been educated in one of those countries and then has gone back home. And I have actually had some lectures done by people in that situation. Of course, they're completely different in that case, because they picked up the right idea, the right vibe of how to communicate. So other than that, there's just no role models here, and so just bad habits are picked up and perpetuated in education and in presentation of business seminars as well. So this is Benjin. We're just going down to Benjin, which is an interesting place. On the one side of the road over there, you have Chelaj. Sorry, no, am I getting it the other way around? Hang on, I can't remember which side of the road is which. But Chelaj is maybe there and Benjin's over there. That's right. So Chelaj means a retinue. Yeah. In Hungarian, the similar word család means family, but it's your extended family if you're a monarch, and it becomes your retinue, család, in Polish. Yeah. So and Benjin, they say that Benjin comes from when the king came with his armies and camp followers and his retinue down on a campaign down here with huge numbers of people. He said, I'm going to set up camp here. Yeah, I will be here, and the retinue there. Yeah. So in older Polish, the way he said it, ja tu Benjin, or me tu Benjin, maybe Benjamin was what he intended to say. Tu Benjin I tam család. So people have taken that literally and called the town there Benjin, and the one on the other side of the road is Család, but it's not being signposted to at the moment. But that's what they say is the origin of that in folk legend. Whether it's true is another matter. But that's the story. And I've got my usual problem of not being able to turn the thing off, which is not very good, because I ought to really progress. I've got 15 minutes to do a 21-minute drive, so I'm getting threatened more and more with the possibility of being impolite. And I don't want to be impolite to this person, because he's a nice guy. I've only ever done him favours. I haven't had that many in return, but I'm hoping to get one today. So coming late wouldn't be the best position to be doing that from. So I shall call it a day, I think. That's what I shall call it. Thank you for your attention, and see you soon. Okay, this is now after the meeting with my friend who I'm seeing before the client itself. I nearly got in the way of that ambulance, and that wouldn't have been good. He's going a different way. So this is after the meeting. This was in Katowice, and obviously we're now in the situation where there's huge, great big flakes of snow. So that's not so fantastic. See the size of them hitting the windscreen there. It's, what's the temperature? It's 3 degrees above, so they're melting when they hit the ground, but that's in Katowice. Outside they might well start making a white road, and by the time we get to the evening time with the sun going down, I'm expecting white roads for the evening. Anyway, I wasn't really late. He was about 2 minutes late, I was 5 minutes late, so that all worked out very nicely. Right, cheers. Okay, here's an update. A few years back, this was all, and I did a film called No Man's Land. This was all just ploughed up, no asphalt, as you see there. We did that before, and it was all full of rubbish. They've cleaned it up, the Czechs, and they've made a nice road. So now we just went from Czech to Poland, just with no border. That was the old border place, by the way. And the Czechs have made a road exactly the same as this one. So now, without even any sense of being back in Poland from the Czech Republic, with barely a sign to show the change of country, we've gone from the Czech Republic to Poland. And that's exactly how the idea of New Europe. So, you know, effectively what we've done is we've crossed the Holy Roman Empire into the land of the Poles and the Lithuanians, or actually used to be Germany. We've crossed from the Austrian Empire into what used to be the German Empire for hundreds of years, and whereas before there would have been quite a lot of brouhaha doing that, here nothing at all. Yeah, so and in fact, if you go back far enough, there wouldn't have been actually all that much brouhaha, because you didn't even need passports. But it's still interesting the way that things have progressed over time. Right.